Hi, everyone. Welcome to Are We There Yet? I'm Dr. Brent Scholar. I'm a lecturer at Arizona State University, and I am here with Sigrid Benitez. We are going to do an interview about what has happened since the 2020 coronavirus pandemic. What types of shift happened in teaching, learning, from a student perspective, from the work that she was doing at that time. So stay tuned for a wild ride. So, hi, Sigrid. Thanks for joining us. And can you please tell everyone about yourself?
Hi, Brent. So I'm currently a Master's of Counseling student at Arizona State University in Tempe. This is my first semester. It's traditionally a 2 3-year program, so just starting. I just moved here from Honolulu, Hawaii. I moved there originally to go to the University of Hawaii at Manoa for a Master's in Educational Psychology. And from there, I got to work with some students at community colleges that were experiencing different disabilities, some intellectual disabilities, academic coaching with them, and then nannying some students that were doing distance learning as well. So kind of have a wide view on this topic.
So let's kind of talk about a little broader, like what was your experience, right, since the coronavirus pandemic when it comes to learning?
When the coronavirus pandemic started, I was already working at community colleges, working with students with intellectual disabilities. I was doing some academic coaching. So what that entailed was really just breaking down like how to communicate with our instructors, how to access the resources that students need to complete their work, how to participate in group projects, just being an active student. But when the pandemic happened, a lot of those students, I mean, they went home for spring break and didn't come back to school. They all of a sudden had to be really integrated into technology. But for a lot of those students, they were just working on skills on how to access technology and how to access all the different websites and programs that they could access as students. So it was a really big whirlwind for them. Yeah. Switching online was a completely different world.
So with that, what types of things were you then able to do to help, like either with your transition or with the other people's transitions from that face-to-face learning to this now online virtual world that we've all just grown accustomed to?
Well, I guess something that I noticed from working with students with intellectual disabilities, but I was also a nanny for grade school students that were doing distance learning during that time, and through my experience too, realizing that there had to be some type of social aspect to it. It couldn't be completely disconnected where, the teacher's uploading PowerPoint presentations, you write a reflection, and then you upload it, and that's the end of the transaction. Like there needed to be some type of human interaction, even if it was through Zoom. Even if it was small group meetings online rather than people just texting back and forth. And I noticed the same thing when it came to the kids I was nannying. They were also experiencing that lack of connection, just had a weekly assignment that they had to have to upload. So I guess that was, I mean, that's just a whole bunch of new skills all at the same time. I'm noticing that it is also changing how I'm currently experiencing my education. A lot of my classes are now geared more towards accessibility when it comes to, if someone's feeling sick, you don't have to completely miss out on school that day. The professor is already going to stream it on Zoom, just in case anyone last minute has an emergency, that understanding of just like human issues that can come up that can affect whether you can go to class that day. I feel like I guess the pandemic kind of helped us get to that sympathetic point between teachers and students.
Okay, it sounds like you've noticed a humanization has been happening, right, between faculty, professors, teachers, whatever you want to call them, right, and their students that is like, hey, we do recognize that life is happening here. So communicate that and let's go on. So that's very interesting. And I really liked also you talked about this social aspect, right? Because human beings, for the most part, are social beings. So how do you think students or yourself, I mean, it can definitely be what you're doing yourself, like manage like mental health, right? Because I think that's socialization is so important for people's mental health, or at least most people's mental health. What did you notice around all of that?
Now in the program that I'm in, Masters of Counseling definitely comes with a lot of, I guess, kindness when it comes to how they approach the student life in our program. So we actually have a self-care suite, and the department got an extra space. They engage the student body in their program, and they ask them, what do you want? Do you want a study space? What are you looking for? And they decided self-care suite because, why not? Having these emotionally charging conversations. And now that is a place where I'm always going. I'm able to drop in, just see people that I know, and it's a community space.
That is an amazing shift
Yeah.
in terms of creating this space for students that's going to work for them, and for self-care. So Sigrid, I know that you were a student before the pandemic, right? And then the pandemic happened, and now you're a student again. So, and you're going to actual class now. So what is that like? And how does that work into everything? Are there any changes that you've seen in classes that have happened because of the pandemic that are happening now?
Yeah, so the biggest change is that I can even sign in online to go into my lecture on Zoom. That's not an option for all of the classes in my program. They did switch back to face-to-face at this point in the pandemic timeline. They were doing it online, but as you can tell with counseling, we need to learn how to work with people. So they did want to go back face-to-face. But I would say, yeah, just the human consideration behind it. I do love that that's in there. But I can't say that I wish that it was like that all the time. I'm very, I guess, grateful that I have the opportunity to go back to school face to face. Just from noticing others' experiences, I don't think it would have worked for me. So yeah, at
Mhm.
this point, I'm grateful to go back in person.
Have you had any experience, or what are your thoughts about like also doing it this way, right? We're meeting here on Zoom today to do this recording because there are a lot of telehealth opportunities now that we didn't have before. So
Yeah.
being able to also connect with people like this, right?
Mhm.
You talked earlier about students doing play dates and doing like small groups and stuff. But what are your thoughts about that, and how do we need to introduce maybe that type of learning as well?
I mean, it makes sense to me to have both options. Even when we're talking about engaging learners, something that I learned in my ed psych program was that each learner is going to have their own needs, and not one model is going to fit everyone. That's the beauty of having different educational approaches available. I'm imagining as a parent, it must feel great being able to decide from what you're noticing in your child what they would thrive in. So for me, even though I prefer learning in person, I have a lot of friends that have described their experiences as going swimmingly when it was online. Like they finally felt like it was a medium that they felt comfortable in. So yeah, I just think that giving people options allows them to be able to decide what they need, give them that autonomy, make sure that their needs are met.
So I really appreciate you joining me here today. I think you had some amazing insights. And what I would like to see for you to leave everyone today is, what's the one thing that you feel that anybody could do today, right now, after listening to you and your interview and maybe other people's interviews, to help improve, learning in this post-pandemic, day and age?
Yeah, I guess I would take what seems to be like a more sympathetic way of dealing with people. Like I said before the pandemic, is seeing that switch. It felt like everyone recognized how much they needed each other. So just taking that and moving forward with it, like we should be understanding of each other, like trying to help each other access all of this technology so that they can live their best life, they can thrive in whatever space they need to be in. So just that human consideration, that's, I think it can be applied to different things. So
But I love your final thoughts there. And I just want to highlight this for everybody. Sigrid has put on something very important. really empathy, showing empathy to everyone around you, and go read a Brene Brown book, and really understanding like what is happening for that other person, right? And taking that time. And I appreciate, Sigrid, you taking time with me, everyone here taking time to listen and learn, about Are We There Yet? And I hope you enjoyed this little interview, and please follow Shaping EDU. Are We There Yet? And we will see you next time. Take care, everyone.